Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets because, guys, last night, Bitcoin made a very important move. As we can see here by this green candlestick, Bitcoin broke a very important level of resistance at $7,500. Bitcoin is currently trading at $7,700. Guys, over the last 2 weeks, Bitcoin has broken not one, but two very, very important levels of resistance, and it has only one ahead of it. And if it can break this level that we're going to be talking about in today's video, I believe a full-scale bull run is about to start. We're going to be discussing that and more in today's video, so if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting the subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell because, guys, we do cryptocurrency videos every single day, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of them. So let's get right into it. Bitcoin is, of course, as we saw in the chart, trading at around $7,700, up about $300 from where it was trading at the beginning of yesterday's candlestick. This is a big move because, like we said in the intro, $7,500 was a very important level. We're going to be looking at that in a second, but let's go ahead and do our general market recap. Bitcoin is up about 3.25% in the last 24 hours, and that isn't a lot, but as far as what it's actually accomplished on the chart, that is a very big deal because it's broken several important levels of resistance. The rest of the cryptocurrency market, interestingly enough, hasn't really followed it. As we can see down here, a lot of cryptocurrencies are in the red up here in the top 10, which is interesting. It's because Bitcoin hasn't moved that much, but that movement being important is why we're making this video. But the rest of the altcoins aren't really following because Bitcoin didn't make like a 15% move or anything. If we sort by change over the last 24 hours, we see Holo up here. I believe that's getting a Binance listing today. That may be why that's up. I haven't looked into that yet. But we do see some red as well. Bitcoin Diamond's down 40%. That's a very interesting looking chart right there. But overall, the entire cryptocurrency market is relatively neutral while Bitcoin is establishing this very important level up here at $7,700. Volume for the last 24 hours is about $5 billion on Bitcoin. It's about 1.5 on Ethereum. That's nice to see. It's good to see more volume coming into the market. We don't like having a low liquidity market where Bitcoin is not able to actually move up and down in kind of gradual ways. We've seen so many of these little jumpy kind of just gigantic spikes in the past. We've seen all the Bart Simpson patterns and everything, and that is in part a symptom of a low liquidity market, and that's something that we're not really a big fan of because it's kind of hard to catch a pump when it happens in like 15 seconds. So it's a good thing to see the volume coming back, and I think that's a trend that's going to continue if Bitcoin does start this bull run that we're going to be talking about. Interestingly enough, also Bitcoin's dominance has also continued to rise. Bitcoin's dominance is hovering around 46%. This is one of those things, I talked about this in a couple of videos ago, where some of the market trends that we've seen in 2018 are starting to break down. And this is something that I see a lot at the turn of markets. You see established trends and established patterns in the market start to kind of break down and wither away and stop being as powerful as they used to be. And one of the trends that we've seen for most of 2018 is that Bitcoin's dominance has an inverse correlation with its price action, which means when Bitcoin's dominance is going down, Bitcoin's price, and therefore the rest of the cryptocurrency market's price, is going up. That trend is starting to break down now, though, because a lot of the valuation from the altcoins is moving into Bitcoin as signaled by its dominance increase, which is signaling to me that a lot of people expect a Bitcoin bull run to be happening soon, and that they're also expecting Bitcoin to break these 2 or 3 levels of resistance that we're going to be looking at in today's video. That's also signaled on the shorts chart, which we're going to be looking at in a second. Bitcoin's market capitalization is still over $130 billion, $132 billion. Total market capitalization is still over $250 billion, below 300 billion. That's something that we're going to want to keep an eye on. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get onto the chart. Now, for the last 6 days or so, Bitcoin has been trading sideways. As we saw, we did a video on this. You can watch it up here in the top right. Bitcoin, a while ago, it was about a week ago now, Bitcoin broke important resistance at about $1,000 below where it currently is at $6,750. And from there, Bitcoin rallied 10% in one day. That was a very interesting day. And what we saw was that Bitcoin was up here trading around an important level of resistance. It was kind of hitting his head up against this level of resistance, and it turns out this is the neckline of an inverse head and shoulders pattern that you can see with a shoulder right here, a neck right, or a head right here, and a shoulder right here. We kind of traded and hit our head up against this level of resistance for a while, and eventually we broke out of it, and we ran up to a new level of resistance up here with some moving averages. That some moving averages also cause this level of resistance, but around $7,500. And in the same manner as we saw back down here, when we saw Bitcoin hitting its head up against this level of resistance back over here, that's kind of what we've seen up here. Bitcoin's just been hitting its head on $7,500 for the last little while, and eventually something was going to give. Guys, we hit this so many times. We hit it right here, we hit it right here, we hit it like 4 times in here, we hit it right here. We had a little false breakout yesterday right there that we were watching in the Discord server, and really something had to give because the bears were able to keep Bitcoin below this, but the bulls were not giving up, and the bulls have eventually come through and actually succeeded because last night while I was asleep, Bitcoin managed to break this level of resistance, and this was an important level of resistance. This was a bit of short-term market structure. We're going to be discussing the importance of market structure in this video today as well, because this kind of leads in to what we're talking about in the general theme of today's video. This $7,500 level for the last week has been an important piece of market structure because Bitcoin has been continually getting resistance there for several reasons we're going to be getting into in a second. But now that we've broken it, that's a very bullish sign, and I'm very happy to see that. That is something that we definitely wanted to see happen. With that break, several things are now happening. We have just accomplished several things with that break. Let's go ahead and go over some of them. If we turn our simple moving averages on here, then we're going to see that this gray moving average, this one right here, that gray moving average represents the 100-day simple moving average. That is an important moving average. You guys can go back on the channel. I made a video about like 3 hours before this green candlestick right here formed when we were still in the inverse head and shoulders pattern. I talked about if we break the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders pattern, the neckline right there, if we break that, we're going to go straight to the 100-day moving average. You can go back and watch that video. It'll be linked in the top right. I said within a week anyway, we'll be up here at this 100-day moving average. I think that was my wording. And that's what happened. We got up there, and I talked about how this was going to be an important moving average. And I'm not gloating or saying I called it or anything. I'm just saying that this is an important moving average. And now we've broken it. The 100-day moving average is a very important moving average. If we come back here into 2017, we're going to see that the 100-day moving average served as a very important level of support multiple times in the bull run of 2017, and it served as an important level of resistance here in the bear market of 2018. Back here, we got resistance, or we got support on it right here. We got support on it right here. If we come over here earlier on into 2017, we're going to see we got support on it right here. We got support on it right here. Guys, that's an important moving average. My chart just messed up. That's an important moving average because it's had so much precedent and so much effect on price action in the past, and now we're finally above it. So I'm very excited to see that we're above that. Another thing that we want to look at is out here on the weekly chart. If we come out here to the weekly chart and we look, what we're going to see is that Bitcoin is currently getting resistance at the 21-day simple moving average, but it's also getting resistance at the 20-day exponential, or excuse me, the 20-weekly exponential moving average. We're going to look at this moving average instead of the simple because this has a little bit more play in my opinion. In this moving average is something that I talked about in yesterday's video. You guys can watch that up in the top right, and I highly recommend you do because it's going to play a big part in what happens in the next couple of days. That video, I go over what constitutes a bull run and how you can decide when a bull run is starting. And one of the things I mentioned in that video is this 20-weekly moving average. And I talked about how important it is because if we zoom out here on the chart and we come back here into 2017, not only did the 20-weekly exponential moving average serve as very important levels of support in the bull market in 2017, as we can see here, support, 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 over here, support, 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 support. You see how much support we got on that. That's an important moving average. And also something that I pointed out is that back here in October of 2015, when the Bitcoin bull run officially started, I would say that the Bitcoin bull run from 2015 to late 2017 officially started in October of 2015. Right there. That's a good picture right here. I would say this is where it started right here. And what happened right here? Well, Bitcoin got above the 20-day or the 20-weekly exponential moving average. Exactly what happened is that it got above this moving average right here. It broke it right there in the middle of October. And guess what we're about to do right now? Or guess what we have at least the ability to do? And we not necessarily we're going to do it, but this is something that's important. It looks like we may be about to break it. It looks like we may be about to break this, and if we do, that's going to be a ridiculously bullish sign. That alone won't signal a bull run, but it will most certainly help. And one of the reasons that alone won't signal a bull run is because, as I know you guys have probably noticed, we had a couple of false breakouts above it back here. But that's to be expected. Those were false breakouts. If we come back here on the chart as well, back to 2015, what we're also going to see is that Bitcoin at the time had false breakouts above the 20-weekly exponential moving average. As you can see right here, there was a false breakout, and about a month or so later, about 2 or 3 months later, we saw an actual proper breakout that resulted in a bull run. That's an important level that we're going to want to be looking at is the 20-weekly exponential moving average, and if we can break it, guys, along with the thing I'm about to talk about, that is going to be a big deal, and I think that along with the thing I'm about to talk about, along with the potential news of a Bitcoin ETF, will result in a proper bull run. I'm not saying for 100% certainty that the bull run is going to happen. I'll never say with 100% certainty that anything is going to happen in a market. That would be irresponsible of a professional trader. You should not do that. what you should do is say, okay, what's the probability that this is going to happen? I think it's more than likely that this is going to happen. I'm not going to put a percentage number on it, though. If the Bitcoin ETF goes through, if we break this moving average and we break the thing I'm about to show you, I do believe we're going to see a bull run. Let's talk about this last thing that I'm referencing here, this thing that I've been alluding to, though, kind of coup de grace of this video. What is the last level that we want to see broken? Well, one of the last levels that we want to see broken is this downtrend right here that we're currently under. As you can see, we're under it right now, right there. We're very much under a downtrend. Now, if you guys have been in the cryptocurrency space for a little while, you're probably familiar with that downtrend, and that downtrend would be the top trend line in the long-term descending triangle pattern. Guys, this descending triangle pattern is a very important thing because not only does it include important market structure down here around the bottoms at $6,000, right down here, it includes that. That's a very, very important piece of market structure. It also includes a very important piece of market structure, which is this downtrend. And with both of those important trend lines, it establishes a long-term descending triangle pattern. And when you break a descending triangle pattern, or when you break any kind of triangle pattern, you typically see a very, very big breakout of that triangle pattern. As you can see here, for a time, we had the long-term descending triangle pattern right here. And we also had a long-term uptrend pattern right here, and Bitcoin was actually in a symmetrical triangle pattern. And when we broke below that, and we broke the level of support that was constituting the bottom of that, we saw a very big red candlestick right there. So it's a very important thing that we actually see. Excuse me, my dog's shaking. It's a very important thing that we see a break of this long-term descending triangle pattern and a break of this trend line because it represents a very important piece of long-term market structure. Guys, I can't stress enough how important market structure is. I'm going to be covering that in the course, which is slated to launch a month from today. I'm going to be covering that in the course because long-term market structure, I know I've said that like 5 times, it's a very important thing for the reason that it's something that everyone is looking at. Everybody is looking at this downtrend right now. I don't care who you're talking to. Everybody knows about this downtrend. Everybody is looking at that downtrend, and everybody is looking for Bitcoin to break it. Now, with that in mind, let's say one more thing, and we're going to wrap the video up. One of the other reasons I think we're going to break it, this is a big reason, is I see a lot of exuberance in the market. I see a lot of hope in the market that I haven't seen in a long time. I've seen a lot of bad times in the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. When Bitcoin was down here around $6,500 and looked like it was going to come down here back to $6,000, there was pure despair. And back here when we were down here around $5,750 down here, a lot of the people, not the people that were really doing highly advanced or advanced technical analysis, they weren't really that worried, but the people that were newer to the market especially were very concerned back here. We saw a lot of despair and we saw a lot of people that were very fearful, and that represented a turn in the market. And you could say the same thing about right now. When people are very happy, that could represent a turn in the market if you're being contrarian. That's one way to look at it. But the way I look at it is that a lot of people are very, very excited about this market. A lot of people see a potential Bitcoin ETF on the horizon somewhere like right over here. And they see that Bitcoin has one final trial. And if it can accomplish that, and if it actually does go through and actually does break that 20-weekly EMA, and if it does break this downtrend, then they're going to see a bull run. And I think a lot of people are very, very excited about that, and I think the market sentiment is going to help with that. Because, guys, like I talked about earlier in the video, Bitcoin bulls, the bulls just did not give up on this $7,500 level. They kept pushing into it. We saw so many rejections right there, right there, 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 there. We saw so many rejections because the bulls kept testing it. And because they kept testing it, that is a good sign for us that the bulls are in this to win it, and they are looking to continue this rally. And as you can see, we're curving up a little bit right here in the last couple of minutes. Or in the last couple of hours, really. I think the Bitcoin bulls are getting a lot stronger. I think the bears have had their day because we've been in a downtrend, or at least we were in a downtrend for 2 months or more. And I really think the bulls have it in them to push it through this last little level. If Bitcoin can close a couple of daily candles like $200 north of where it is right now, that's all we need. We don't need to move that far. These levels of resistance could easily be broken by a whale. That's how easy it is to get above this. Now, whether or not we're going to, that's a different matter. I think we're going to, though. And it's hard for me to put into words why I feel that way, because that's one of those things that you just kind of get a gut feeling after you've been in a market for so long. One of the things that you really get a good gut feeling for is the market sentiment. And right now, I have a good feeling about this. I don't have a bad feeling about this, as Han Solo might say. But one last thing we want to cover, and then we're going to wrap the video up, is the Bitcoin shorts chart. I don't show this chart that often, But I'm going to go ahead and show it right now. The Bitcoin shorts have been gradually declining over the last couple of months. And essentially, if you guys aren't familiar with this chart, what a Bitcoin short is basically when you borrow a Bitcoin, in this case, from someone else, and then you sell it at current price. So you sell it up here. Let's say this is an actual dollar chart, and this represents like $20,000. You borrow some Bitcoin from someone at this price, you sell it, and you wait for it to go lower, and then you buy back in down here, and then you give them the same number of Bitcoin back, and you pocket the difference. That's what shorting is. It's basically betting against Bitcoin, and this represents the number of shorts on, I believe this is Bitfinex, yes. So this represents the number of shorts on Bitfinex, and as you can see, back over here in April, or excuse me, mid-April, we had about 40,000 shorts, and right now we're down to about 20,000. We're down here in recent lows, back where Bitcoin shorts were back here in May. I like to see the shorts falling off because that is the number of people betting against Bitcoin, and that is starting to decline. Now, again, that could be a contrarian signal that these people are in the wrong, and a lot of people that are trading, the majority of people don't have any idea what they're doing and are wrong. But at the same time, I do like to see this continuing to go down. But anyway, guys, we're going to see how this market develops. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on this as things continue to develop. And I'm very excited right now. I'm not FOMOing. I'm not FUDing. I'm not letting my emotions rule my trading, because that's one of the most important things to trading. You guys have to remember, just because a bull market is on the horizon, just because a potential reversal, and just because a potential rally is right around the corner, just because that's a possibility does not mean that is guaranteed. It does not mean that that is most certainly going to happen. I want you guys to keep a level head. If we do break this downtrend, though, and we do break the 20-weekly EMA, and we can stay up there for a little while, and we do see a big green candlestick forming, that would be a time that you could consider a trade. I'm not saying to trade right now. Right now, I would be very careful trading anything. If you're shorting right now, you're in a dangerous spot. If you're buying right now, you're in a dangerous spot, in my opinion. I really would be careful trading right here. But anyway, guys, like I said a second ago, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think is going to happen? Is Bitcoin actually going to break these important levels, this downtrend? Is it going to break the downtrend? And is it going to break the 20-weekly exponential moving average? Is it going to break these two levels? And if it does, do you agree with me that a break of these two levels would result in a bull run? And if that happens, what do you think about the Bitcoin ETF? Do you think the Bitcoin ETF is going to be approved? And if it is approved, what kind of effects on the market do you think that's going to happen? I'm interested to hear your opinions. As always, guys, I read every single comment, and I really, really do enjoy reading them. So make sure you go ahead and leave some. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.